One of the things, Paresh, this is a moment of realization. These are moments of realization. So you've been an entrepreneur, you've done various things, you've had successful exits, etc. What's your moment of realization of what success is and what you do with it?
Yeah, Lakshmi, the realization, in my opinion, comes, at least for me, it came from like some of the time of the events that happens. Some realizations happen when you're in the situation, you step away and come back and look at it, and then you realize it goes, oh wow, I didn't look at it that way. Some comes when an extreme event happens, either catastrophic or spectacular failure, I call. Or sometimes it happens when something great happens. For me, the first realization happened when once we actually moved, our family uprooted ourselves and then went to U.S. at a young age. Collected a lot of money, make the ends meet, and whatever money I can collect to come back visit. I was dying to come back. It took about 12 years to come back. Came back and visited India, and then soon I realized, it goes, wow, I don't remember this. Obviously I lived in it, not realizing that I was living in it. So there was, somebody just mentioned, safe drinking water was not even around. That made us sick all the time. Pollution was pretty bad, and the cities you barely can breathe. That made me realize it was, wow, this is what I lived in, and you don't realize till you go back and live in America and then come back and see it. That kind of led me to a point. It goes, what can we do? What can I do? And so it started my journey of trying to see, can we do something about it? And I took a journey on build, at least help solution to see if I can find a solution to do, pollution address, not know anything about it. And I figured out there was a pollution caused by two-wheelers and three-wheelers the most. And I go, what if we actually change that? Not knowing anything again, ask stupid questions, to ask my brother-in-law, goes, hey, give me your catalyst converter patents and stuff, we can actually fix this. And not realizing that it's a policy-driven, it's an expensive solution, it's not feasible, so on and so forth. Put me back in reality, but it didn't stop me. I kept thinking, I have to do something, and went on a journey of figuring out what can we do, and this is the time when cell batteries, cell phones were coming out with batteries and stuff, and I said, what if we actually just create electric vehicle? No moving parts, no noise, no pollution, and I used a lot of my resources that I actually just had small company that I sold and built a electric vehicle, scooters and rickshaws. I brought it to India. Everybody was, thinking I was crazy. Stupid.
This was 96?
This was in 96, yeah. It took me 3 years to study, is it feasible or not, and so on and so forth. Spoke to 1,000 rickshaw drivers, and then they really told me all about how much they fuel, what they spend, so on and so forth. But it was feasible. I think we could have done it, and I knew the lithium ion batteries in the works. At that time, nickel metal hydrogen was already there. We could use that for now, and then lithium ion was in the cusp of making a breakthrough. So there was a feasible solution. I ran around and spoke to the ISD and STD booth people, and they said they will charge the batteries. Anyways, long story short, came and did it. Nobody believed in it. And somebody mentioned in one of the speakers that till the ecosystem is not there, you can't really make it success. I learned the hard way, gave up on the project pretty much and say it won't work for now. On my flight back home, I realized how important it is to actually have the ecosystem and then, advisors or mentors and so on and so forth. That's when I realized that I actually want to go back and do something. Maybe perhaps a creative platform where a crazy person like me or the other entrepreneurs like many in this room can do this kind of bold event. So went on a journey back to US and built a few other companies. And when I realized that I have enough, at least for where I come from, financial success was secured, what do I want to do? And that's when I said I want to come back to India and do something and solve some of the things that I was lacking, and took on a project, was invited to XPRIZE.
So actually you skipped a step in between. After your success, one of the things is you really wanted to see how you could look at problems more at a macro level. So tell us a little bit about how you got into XPRIZE and some of the work.
Yeah, so I wanted to look at how the XPRIZE was invited. I wanted to build a platform, and I had conversation with Naveen, Jain, a dear friend of mine, Ratan, Tata himself, and Peter Diamandis, they said this is what I was going to do after the exit. And they said, well, if that's what you want to do, XPRIZE is actually a great platform. We perhaps could actually use this and leverage and solve the grand challenges that we actually address by incentivizing prize money. And I said the one, condition that I want to join would be I take this platform to India. Because India actually would be developing country has the unique challenges that we all face. It is not just going to the space. It's literally simple as we heard Sumit said, it's water issue, the drinking water, the pollution, so on and so forth. So I wanted to bring that platform here and see if we can actually solve our own problems. Women's safety was one of the very top in my, so decided to bring the platform, come to India, launch the platform along with it, the prize, and figure out, see if we can challenge the world to say, can we find a solution? And at that time, we decided to launch two prizes. One is women's safety, and another was drinking water. And the way we were on finding drinking water is we challenge the world and say, hey, can anybody come up with a solution who can actually have the machine, technology, whatever that is, it doesn't matter where it's come from, who invents it, which color, race, female, educated, institute, doesn't matter who does it, but find a solution. It should be easy to install, produce the water, pull the water out of thin air, because we have a lot of atmospheric water here, so we can there's enough water in the air, we can actually make the water out of it. But using a non-grid technology, off-grid technology, it should not cost more than 2 cents a liter and do about 2,000 liters per day. And proudly say, once we announced it, 100 teams from all over the world participated. And eventually, we didn't think it was going to be actually successful, but proud to say that we actually did awarded the winner about 2 weeks ago, and then about a month ago. And they actually produced and proved that they can do 2,000 liters of water, less than 2 cents of water, and pulling the water out of thin air.
So where is this team from, and how did they pull water out of thin air?
This team actually happens to be from Venice Beach, California, believe it or not. It was prized for, they're passionate about solving drinking water, because as we heard, that drinking water amounts to about 50% of waterborne disease. All the diseases are actually about 50% of waterborne. So not having the water, when you grow up, drinking safe water, it was a dream to come back and say, can we make a dent and actually find a solution? And if we can just provide drinking water to just kids, it would make a huge difference. And then I think I can show you that's what we did, and then we found a
So
solution.
after getting water out of thin air technology and figuring out how to distribute it, another passion that you have is at the intersection of health and technology.
Yeah.
So tell about one of the investments you had in that area.
Yeah, so the water is part of the more, sort of a philosophical work type I'd spend time on, and to try to see if we can actually take what we learn, we do things well some other place, and you can use those things and be responsible and come back, and your realization should be the choices you make. So the choices I wanted to make was, can we take what we learn and then success you may have, transfer into something doing well. So water was one of the things that I wanted to, pay attention to. Second is I learned a lot about, I'm a techie, so I know technology. I don't know anything about healthcare, but healthcare is extremely important. We have a lot of progress happening in India, but we're also compromising on health. The epidemic of, compromising in food we eat or the way we live, our lifestyle is deteriorating the health as well. So I want to come back and say, can we do something and within the health space, use all the technologies and look at the healthcare in a very different way. And came about through the research, we Naveen and a friend of mine who was a partner, and said, what can we do to look at the healthcare in a very different way? India is a home of believe in Ayurvedic food. We all believe we are what we are. So microbiome is a very big interest. So we went on a research and found amazing research that's been sitting around at the defense level of US. We actually done it for the national defense. What they do is take your gut health. How they do it is take a stool sample, they analyze it, do the transcriptome sequencing, and they literally break it exactly into what's in your stomach, how active they are, what kind of bacterial colonies you have, and we actually now translating that into what food do you eat precisely, what would be good for you, is it kale good for you, may not be good for me because I do not have the bacteria that actually digest it. So we're getting precision diet, what you eat, based on your gut microbiome, because we all know that all the chronic disease relates to chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is very heavily influenced by the gut microbiome. So we're really looking at the gut microbiome and what can we do. If we do enough study I truly believe that this could be the next wave of the medicine. Your gut, keep your gut healthy, and your health, chronic disease
The whole
stays away.
gut feel has a whole different
The gut is the next big thing, but I think more we learn, I think my dream is to see if we learn enough to see, can we actually use the gut bacteria as the medicine? Ficus transplant, we have done a test couple of places, but can we actually take the lead? Can India take the lead and actually see ficus transplant doing a lot of disease management?
And I think there's a lot of people writing, talking about it.
Yeah, so it used to cost $30,000, to sequence it. We brought it down to $300. We're just about to launch the company in India to do it for $300.
Yeah.
And this is the results you actually get. Very precise. This is actually my results. What vegetables are good for me? What are my superfoods? What should I avoid? So on and so forth.
So, in moving on to health, there's more things you're looking at in terms of health.
Yeah.
So tell us about the other aspect of health you're looking at.
Another thing I'm looking at is obviously I believe our body is actually very, very intelligent about, what we do. So paying attention to what we are, obviously we survived for many years, and our body is very intelligent. It does give a signal. Things doesn't work for you. It already has that things don't work. Maybe we don't detect it. Yeah. So now having the technology, sensors are incredibly powerful nowadays. So we're taking advantage of sensors, and how do we actually sense it? Use a sensor to attach to our body. We all talk about wearable devices, but those sensors are so intelligent now and so amazingly we can actually capture the signals that we can never seen before. We're taking these signals and analyzing them to monitoring your health, the deterioration of the health. And one of the company that we're about to launch in India, so I just got an approval, that you can literally, this is the device that I wear, you put it on here and will capture all your vital signs, parameters, your continuous EKG, SpO2, your heartbeat, your posture, so on and so forth. And these actually would be live, sitting on, so you literally can monitor as many as patients you want remotely anywhere. This is streaming directly from actually Switzerland server. You can literally look at all your signs, vital signs. So now we're learning, capturing the data and analyzing, we can actually detect infection, sepsis. We can look at your sleep patterns. We can look at sleep, not the pattern, we can actually sleep apnea. Yeah. We can do body fluid. And these are just beginning. I think we can really use a lot of signals and analyze. And eventually what I want to do is take this to the masses. You have something on your wear it, continuous monitor. If there's any deterioration, you literally can detect way before it happens. So this we're ready to do right now. If you have some sort of irregular heartbeat, arrhythmia, which people actually have stroke, because of the atrial fibrillation happen, we don't not know maybe, but you can detect it if you have it. You can act on it proactively. So these are truly I want to make it as maybe something wearable. You can have the watch on your phone and doctor could be available anytime. And
also I think what you're talking about here is that it's continuous data. So when you do an EKG or something, it's a point in time, could have missed something, but if it's because it's continuous capture.
This device will capture for about 2 weeks, on a single power. We can actually record the EKG or ECG for continuous ECG. You can analyze, if you said in an episode of some particular time, you can go back to data and look at what actually happened.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Paresh. And I think I've known Paresh for a while now, and I've been telling him that you must spend more time in India. And now you're doing it at an exponential pace.
No, I think we can. I think India can lead the way to the healthcare, and I think we have it. We know we have resources, we have the brain power, and we have the willness, and then the room of smart people here. So
yes, thank you very much, Paresh.